What's up, what's up, Laugh Therapy and Jokers? Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to kick off your shoes and unleash those belly laughs because you have tuned in to the one and only Laugh Therapy with Joe. I've got my beautiful co-host with me.
JD, aka Sunshine.
And as you guys know, I am your host, Joe King, here to guide you on a side-splitting journey through the wild world of personal growth. Today, we're diving headfirst into a hilarious ride that is our 20s and the lessons we are now learning in our 30s. You guys remember your 20s, right? So much fun, those exhilarating years filled with impulsive decisions, questionable fashion choices, and enough embarrassing moments to make us cringe and laugh all at once. From navigating the treacherous waters of adulting to surviving those unforgettable nights out, we've seen it all. But fear not, because now in our 30s, we're here to share the wisdom we've gained and, of course, have a good old laugh about it. So buckle up, grab your sense of humor, maybe a bottle of wine, and get ready for some laugh-induced therapy. I hope everyone's doing well today.
Yo, you know what hit me in the chest?
What?
Is when you said our questionable fashion choices. Let me just start off by saying, it started.
Post, it'll bring up stuff, and I'll be like, was that my makeup? Oh my God. Like, I felt so cute that day, and now I look back at it, and I'm like, oh my God, busted.
I had a gang of Aeropostale, collar shirts.
Oh no. I just keep
in all different colors.
Busted in my head now.
In all different colors. And I used to wear 2 of them.
Wow.
And pop the collar.
Wow. Well, I can't even front because the Soulja Boy shit. I thought I was really on it. You hear me with them big ass unnecessary ladybug ass eyeball glasses? I thought I was the shit. I had a headband for everything I wore. It was a headband for every occasion.
LL Cool J is to blame too, because I had a gang of Kango hats. I had a gang of Kango hats.
Oh no, oh no.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
This is going to be so much fun, guys. As you guys make your way in here, feel free to drop some of your favorite memories from your 20s, and maybe we'll read some of them online. Super excited to get into this topic.
Or y'all can call in at any time.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, you want to tell them about your good news?
Which good news?
Clothing.
Oh, I actually had that saved for the end of the show, but I guess it can come now. I can do it both ways. Yes, guys, I'm super excited to announce that my website will be up and going here soon. I'm probably giving it no more than 2 weeks. So kingmecomedy.com will be an official website within a couple of weeks. I've already bought the domain. We're setting it up and getting everything together. But what I'm most excited about is your opportunity to support me in my comedy journey by purchasing some of my t-shirts and some of my sayings. We had to copyright the sayings too, because some of my sayings from TikTok have already been stolen, guys. That's so crazy. Like some of the sayings that I went viral on TikTok for, such as being an adult is hella ghetto, hella ghetto, hella ghetto.
Yeah, that was her.
That was me. Those are my sayings. Those are just random things that I did on TikTok that went viral, and they're already on shirts and mugs and stuff all over the world from it being a viral sound on TikTok. And I was like, damn. Like, but do you really own those things? Granted, it was my creativity, but I did it to a beat that everyone knows. That's a nursery rhyme beat. You know? So I didn't know that you could monetize those things, but now that I have figured out that you can, and it is just a form of support for people to support who you are, what you do, things of that nature, I did start a merch store on my website. So some of you guys' favorite catch slogans of mine will be on there. And then, of course, just some sayings that are near and dear to my heart and represent who I am as a person, such as equality is greater than division, started in the closet, now I'm queer, just some things that aren't necessarily my sayings, but we still copyright them because they are tied to me, my brand, and just who I am as a person, and inclusivity. So that'll be a way that you guys can support me here soon, going to kingmecomedy.com. Also, I have been nominated for a People's Choice Award, guys.
Yeah.
Super excited about that. So I have been nominated for Best Comedian or Funniest Comedian in Las Vegas 2023, specifically by the LGBTQ community version of the People's Choice Award. And you guys can vote for me on that. The link is in my bio on TikTok. You can find me at King Me Comedy on all social media platforms, including TikTok. And in that bio, you can click that link and it will take you straight to where you can vote for me for the People's Choice Awards to help me win that. You guys can vote up to July 19th, and I'm super duper excited, and thank you for your support already. So all the fun things happening and all the different ways that you guys can support us, and I'm super excited not only to receive you guys' support. You guys have been an amazing audience, an amazing fan base. I've enjoyed connecting with you guys when you guys see me in public. Oh my God, I got to see you at Jimmy Kimmel's. Oh my God, you're so funny. I saw you here. I've been following you from the beginning on TikTok. I love meeting all of you guys. So keep it coming. Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to say anything.
Yeah, that makes it even more weird. You guys know I'm already a little bit socially awkward. So when you just stare at me from across the room, so many different things are entering my head on why you're staring at me. So it's so much easier for me if you would just say hi. Just say hello. And then I'm like, oh, they must recognize me from somewhere, rather than, what the fuck? Is this a serial killer? Like, why are they staring at me? Is there something wrong with me? Is this, So yeah, just come speak to me. I'm not scary in person, I promise. But back to the subjects of today, we are talking about the maturity and the growth that you reach in your 30s. And I thought that this topic was such an amazing topic to speak on, because I feel like a lot of people think like me in my 20s. I was rushing through my 20s, guys. I got married hella quickly. I started having children hella quickly. I tried to get a standing career hella quickly. I joined the military thinking I was going to retire from there. Like, I just wanted everything to be planned out, and it was rooted in control. I wanted to be in control of how my life turned out. I didn't want anything that I didn't plan to knock me off my feet. If I already had my career in place, if I already had my marriage, if I already had all of that knocked out, then all I had to do was maintain it in my head. I wasn't thinking about the curveballs and what all of those commitments meant in my 20s, so I just did them, and then I ran with those things. I was not mature enough to get married. I didn't even like that man. I didn't like, when I break it down and I really think about who I was and who he was at that time, we should not have gotten married. We definitely should not have procreated. However, I do not regret any of our children together, but I was not mature enough to be making those decisions at the time that I made them in my 20s. And it showed up until I was almost 30 that those were not decisions I should have made that early on at 19 years old. And I also feel like a lot of people in their 20s are thinking that they're behind at something. I should have been here by now. I should have done this by now. Man, I'm failing at this. I'm failing at that. And in reality, I wanted us to have this conversation so that I could tell you, you are exactly where you are supposed to be at the time that you are there, honey. Okay? You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And even if right now is a difficult time, even if right now is a hard time and you're struggling with something, even if right now it seems like the odds are against you, even if right now it seems like you don't have the support that you need, even if right now it seems like that dream is just a dream and it can never be a reality. Everything that's happening to you right now is preparing you for what's to come. It's preparing you for those dreams that you're having of it being bigger. It's preparing you for that career that you've pictured. And don't try to rush it. Everything that you're going through right now, you're going through it for a reason. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation, so that some of you that are out there looking at my life and thinking, oh my gosh, she's got it all together. We're going to find out here today that no, she does not. She's stumbling through life, and I'm grateful for every blessing that I'm receiving. But I'm going through this just like everyone else is, blindly. Some of your favorite people in the world, some of the celebrities that you look up to, some of the people who have made it so far in the career that you're trying to be in, some of your pastors, some of your parents, and people that you have had on this pedestal are stumbling through life and just being grateful for the blessings that they stumble upon. And I wanted us to give you that take, because one of us is creeping toward 40. One of us is on the wrong side of 35. And
we're doing this today. I'm not even going to look at you right now.
I feel like the wisdom and the knowledge and the growth
that
we have obtained just with each other since we've been together in the past 2 years has been significant. And I wanted to be able to kind of share that with you guys and just kind of tee-hee-hee and laugh through some of the dumb decisions we made in our 20s and maybe make you feel a little better about your life.
Because that's what we're here for, to make you feeling better.
Right.
We're going to embarrass ourselves to do that.
And provide therapy and clarity, right? So let's break on into it, Jay. What would you say are some of the key differences you've noticed in your mindset and approach to life in your 30s compared to your 20s?
So just like I tell you all the time, I think that I did it backwards. So when I went to college, I knew my major on the first day. Like, I figured out my major on the first day and I stuck with it. I got a career in it. I got my master's degree at 23. Like, I was boom, 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 knocking out the checklist of what I wanted for myself. And now in my later 30s, I'm still in my 30s, I am figuring out a whole different life. Like, I'm in the upside down of Jessica's world right now. I'm figuring out, like, that there are so many different ways to do things, because I was raised by an immigrant from Jamaica, and they preached hard work computes to success. You kill yourself to go to this job every day, even though if something happens to you, they're gonna replace you in the next couple of weeks. And that was the mentality and the mindset that I had, was there was only one way to do things. But now that I'm learning in my 30s, it's flipped for me. That there's so many more ways to do things. Like, one of the jobs that I have now, with the casting actors and actresses, like, I didn't know that was a thing for us to be able to do. My brain never could compute anything like that, because it was just like, you do your 8 to 5 or whatever type of job, even though I didn't have a traditional 8 to 5, but just, it's a whole different world that I've been opened up to. And it's not kill yourself every day to just make ends meet and survive, and you not living to work. So stepping into this is very uncomfortable, because it's a new space, but I'm happy that I'm here and learning that it is much more than one way to do things. So that's my answer. What about you?
I've always been pretty spontaneous. And I've also always kind of listened to my gut hints, how I ended up marrying someone I didn't even like. It was just, I've just always done what I felt was right in that moment. And my intuition hasn't necessarily been wrong. Like I said, I've been where I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be there. If I wouldn't have married that man, I don't know if we would have had our daughter together, who is the best thing the best thing that's ever come out of that marriage was my little girl. If we wouldn't have gotten married at that time, I wouldn't have had my first son. Now, granted, we lost our first son. I wouldn't have lost our first son. But all of those things were experiences that I needed to experience to become this version of myself today. And I am proud of the version of myself that I am today. So I'd say that the major differences wouldn't even come necessarily from the spontaneity and decision making that I was making. It would stem more so in my level of confidence. I made those decisions not necessarily caring how they would turn out, because I always thought I had more time. I would say now I would make those decisions with a little bit more strategy and a little bit more confidence, because believing in myself now, in the career that I've chosen, and being intentional with the things that I say and the people that I surround myself with, has changed my mindset and who I am tremendously. I've always been a go-getter. I've always been somebody who, if I want it, I got it. If I want to get it, I'm going to get it. That's just been who I am. But I'd say the major differences are the strategy behind why I want what it is that I want now. Before, it was just, I want it, I get it. I want it, I get it. There was no reason for me to want. Yeah, there was no reason to want the things that I wanted. It was more so for the validation of others. It was because I wanted to see I hadn't necessarily have, now in my 30s, if I want something, there's a reason behind it. I want it because my kids, it'll better our lives somehow, me and you, or it'll better my children's livelihood somehow, or it'll project my career some type of way. Now there's a reason I want the things that I want, whereas when I was younger, I just wanted things to be able to say that I had them, so that people would know that I had them, because that meant I had my shit together, even though I was miserable.
I get that. Okay, so if you could go back and give your 20-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Ooh, you're good enough.
Ooh.
I would tell her, you're good enough. Do it because you're good enough. Because I've been told that I was talented my entire life, but every time I would, and I see this in my son, and I'm trying to figure out how I can can curve this in him. I was naturally good at a lot of things as soon as I started. So whenever I was kind of good at something and I wanted to pursue it, if I saw someone else that was better at it than me, I didn't want to do it anymore. Or if I started to do it and I struggled a little bit more, in my head that meant I wasn't supposed to do it, because if I was supposed to do it, I would be good at it already.
It wouldn't give you no resistance.
Right. It wouldn't be hard for me, because there are certain things that just came naturally for me and were never hard for me. Growing up in the church, there were so many kids that wanted to be able to sing, and I grew up in a household full of women that could sing. So as soon as I opened my mouth and wanted to try to hit a note, I could hit it. I found out I could fucking sing, right? So I was walking around the house, la 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 la, all my life, right? Me and my brother too, la 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 la, because we could just sing, right? When it came to writing, I feel almost effortlessly now. I can write an intro, I can write a poem, I can write a song, a rap in like 5 minutes, no problem, and it'll be fire, right? So certain things that other people wanted to be able to do and they struggled doing, I could do them naturally. So as soon as it was something that, or effortlessly, as soon as it was something that I really wanted to do, and it gave me just the slightest bit of resistance, I would hesitate. My confidence would go to the floor, because I'm like, shit, they're better at me than that, or why can't I do that, or damn it, so it just wasn't meant for me to do it. I would tell myself to do it. I would tell my 20-year-old self, you can do it, so do it, right? It may not look the way you wanted it to at first, but keep an open mind to how it can look, because the way that you do it might actually end up being better than the people that you think are doing it better than you, simply because it's your way. So just because they're doing a certain dance, say they're doing a Cabbage Patch and you're doing it in a way that's weird, your weird way might catch on and set a trend, and you actually ended up doing it better instead of losing your confidence and being like, oh, mine doesn't look like theirs. Like 30-year-old me would be like, so theirs don't look like yours, bitch. Get it. Right? Get it. You are the trendsetter, okay? You do it your way. Exactly. Yours is a different Cabbage Patch. Yours is the collard greens patch. You don't give a fuck. Do it anyway, right? So yeah, I would just tell her to do it. If you want to do it, and do it your way. What about you?
Me, I would say give people pleasing a rest. It's okay.
Give yourself grace. I would tell myself that as well. Give yourself grace.
Well, yeah, that one too. That one too.
Give yourself grace.
People pleasing caused a lot of different internal turmoil within me. People pleasing, without going into the long answer, kept me in the closet for a long time, having anxiety about what other people would say or feel or think or do. Kept me from being me, and that's the ultimate goal, is you want to be comfortable in your own skin. So a part of people pleasing was me worried about what everybody had to say, think, or feel about me and how I was living my life and what I decided to do for me. So I would say people pleasing, yeah, don't do that, Jessica. And it's okay to be genuine, kind, and nice, but when you start to inconvenience yourself to make other people feel comfortable, that's where the issue lies. So that's the advice I would give.
How old were you when you knew that you were gay?
I denied it for a while. I was probably like 23.
Wow.
22, 23? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I denied it for a while.
I'm kind of glad I didn't find out till I was like 28, 29.
Why?
I'm kind of, because there was no anxiety around it. There was no fear around it, around coming out to my family, nothing like that. I had already made it to an age where, fuck your opinion about who it is that I'm sleeping with.
I feel like you was like that, though, from the jump. I don't feel like you would have had any trepidation regardless.
I wouldn't say around LGBTQ I was that way. I was that way about everything else in life, but I never nobody ever had questioned my sexuality. So I don't know if it would have made me feel weird if, before knowing that I was attracted to women, if somebody would have accused me of it, right? If somebody would have been like, oh, like she got a crush on me or something like that. Like if before I found out I was attractive to women, if some random girl would have been like, oh, I think she's got a crush on me, I'd have been, this bitch and lost her motherfucker, like I would snap the fuck out.
And yo, and I had been told I was gay from a long time.
And I was the opposite. I was told I was going to be the one that was pregnant coming out of high school because I was fast.
I spent all my early years, just trying to prove everybody wrong. I had so many boyfriends, so many, a lot.
So I'm
and
glad
we're all cool now.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't happen. Well, I didn't discover that part of myself until I was older because I didn't have any of the fears attached to it. I literally came out on TikTok, y'all. For those of y'all who have not been following me for a long time, I was on TikTok and a video of mine went viral because this girl named Amber's Closet, y'all could probably still look her up. Amber's Closet came across my TikTok feed and I was just scrolling and I went right past her video, but all I saw was her face. It was a really quick flash to her face and I went past the video and I was like, what the fuck? And I had to go back because I was like, there's no way that's a real human. She was freaking gorgeous. Like the way that her face was chiseled, her cheekbones, like everything. I was like, there's no way that's a real human. I thought it had to be like a robot or AI or something. And I clicked on her page, and when I clicked on her page, I ended up getting lost. I was on her page for like an hour just looking at her videos. Like, she's a real freaking person. Who knew that, people look like that? She was an amazing freaking looking person, right? And somehow staying on her page for that long, and her being a lesbian and her being a stud, or soft stud, or I don't know what she identifies as. I won't identify her myself, but in my opinion, that's what it looked like. I was like, women are out here looking like that? I clicked on her page, and as I'm scrolling through it, she's part of a group called, is it Case or something like that?
I don't know, but it's about
Easy
4 of them.
And Chris and Stevie. It's 4 of them, all lesbians, all, mask presenting, but they can, switch it up if they want to. And all of them are just freaking gorgeous, right? So me being a comedian, I made a video, took snapshots of all of their faces and a bunch of other ones that were popping up on my feed and was like, first of all, why didn't nobody tell me women were out here looking like this? Like, why did no one tell me that there's a level of woman that has the perfect face and they're just out here, like, stunting on all of us? Like, why is she so pretty? Why are they so gorgeous? And TikTok told me I was gay. That's what happened. They were like, oh my God, like, yeah, that's this person. And look at this one. They started tagging me on other lesbians' pages. They started duetting my videos, telling me about the lesbian community. So then, of course, again, y'all know me, I've got questions. So it turned into an entire series of me finding out stuff. I found out why they have backpacks.
Oh Lord.
I
No,
found
we're
out
not gonna talk
the
about
different
that.
types of straps. They taught me so much right there on TikTok, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then that's actually how I met Jessica on TikTok. She duetted some of my videos answering some of the questions that I had. And I think I asked, what did I ask? It wasn't what is a film, what is a... STEM, that's what I asked. I said, what is a STEM in the community? And she answered that question. And like, as soon as I saw her, I had the same reaction that I had to Amber. I was like, oh my God, who is this gorgeous fucking human? Like, why did no one tell me that girls were out here looking like this in the face? Like, oh my God. So
you were stuck in San Antonio.
I was stuck in San Antonio. So again, I responded to her video, and I'm just like, I don't even think I said anything directly to her. I think I just responded with my face. Like, first of all, who the fuck? Like, who is that? Right? And TikTok kind of played with me in just that discovery, and they were just as excited with me. Like, oh my God, she didn't know that, like, you can be gay. You want to be gay? There's an option. They just kind of like welcomed me in. And my family had been watching my TikTok, so they kind of already saw what was developing anyway. So there was no like coming out or anything. They saw it unfold. The only person I actually had a conversation with as far as coming out was my little sister, and that's just because her opinion of me matters to me, being my younger sister and us being so separate in our ages. I'm 17 years older than my sister. So she looks up to me in a lot of things, and I didn't want her to be confused or anything of that. So I sat down thinking we're about to have this heart to heart, and she was just very mature about it. She was like, do you like her? I was like, yeah. She was like, does she like you? I was like, yeah. She was like, does she treat you right? I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, don't put your hands on her and tell her not to put her hands on you. And if you're happy, I support you, blah, blah, blah. And it was just, so I didn't have any of those issues with coming out. So I was really glad when I came out at 28, 29. Was I 29?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at 29 years old, my family didn't bat an eye. They were like, don't hit each other. They were just like, all right, love is in the air, whatever. And now they absolutely adore her. So anyway, that was a really long way to say.
Okay. Have you ever come across an old diary or journal entry from your 20s that made you cringe or laugh uncontrollably at your younger self?
Man, Facebook, like I told y'all, Facebook is disrespectful as hell with some of the memories. Facebook, so it wasn't a diary entry, but a video of me singing came up. Maybe like a year or so ago, came up on Facebook, and it was so cringy. And I was singing about some little boy, some little boy that had broke my heart. It was the saddest damn song. It was so cringy. And now in hindsight, I don't even remember what little boy at the time had broken my heart. But it was so cringy, and my lyrics were so cringy. Because you heard me, you heard me. It was so stupid.
Oh, you have to share it now.
It was so stupid. If I could find, I think I deleted it if I'm not mistaken. I was like, fuck that. But if I find it again, I will definitely share it on Facebook. And I might play it on here just so that y'all could see how freaking dumb that shit looked. I was on here like, and you lied to me, and you lied to me. It was so, I don't know how old I was. I think I was like 19. I was like 20. I think it was about my ex-husband, honestly. Like, now that I think about it.
Oh, that's...
Girl, the song was so cringy. Great. It was so stupid. My makeup was busted.
Shaky, we trying to figure out what a video is. Girl. We have to see that video.
I thought, and I cannot believe I recorded myself singing it. That's the part that just behooved the fuck out of me. Like, how, bitch? My makeup was busted. My eyeliner was crooked. My eyelashes were crooked. My foundation was like 3 shades too dark. And I was singing, and I was like, bitch, you deserved to be hurt. Because why do you look the way you looking on this screen? You hired me. You hired me. I don't know if I sent it to him. If I did, oh, my God, even more cringy. I don't know. But that would probably definitely be one. With me singing that stupid-ass song. What about you?
Oh man, I don't think I've told anybody this stupid ass story. Oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. So I didn't have a journal, but if I had a journal, I would have been brandying this day. So in college, I had one serious boyfriend at the time, and we never actually had intercourse, right? But my cycle always came on time. Always. It's like clockwork. And 1 month it didn't come. And I sat up there and I told this boy I might be pregnant.
What? What?
I was such an idiot. I was such an idiot. I was probably just stressed. Did he just look at you like, No, he was like, he worshipped the ground I walked on. So he was just like, all right, babe, whatever we got to do. He was questioning in his mind. I could see his wheels turning. Mm-hmm. Man, I was such an idiot, y'all. Yo, Shaky, you know exactly who I'm talking about, too. My mama might know who I'm talking about, too, but I was such an idiot. We sitting in front of the gym, looking at the gym, just lost. I don't think I've ever told anybody this dumbass story.
Oh no.
Oh man, okay. What lessons did you learn in your 20s that have been invaluable navigating the challenges of your 30s?
Ooh. Lessons in my 20s that have been invaluable in my 30s. I would say...
Y'all laughing at me in the comments. I hate y'all. They are scary, Jazzy. Even, yeah.
I would say being open to collaborating is very important. Being someone who likes to be in control, and I'm definitely someone who likes to be in control. That way, if it goes well, I know it's on me, but if it goes badly, it's also just on me. And I don't feel like I ruined it for anyone else. Like, I have the confidence in myself to be able to be a fixer. But I'd say a large lesson I learned, and I'm grateful to have learned it in my 20s, was learning to be open to collaboration and other people's thoughts and ideas. Because even if I don't think their thoughts or ideas are better than mine, they may... adding someone else's thought to mine or adding someone else's idea to something that I'm already doing it won't necessarily ruin what it is that I'm trying to do, but it also helps my friends, my family members, and people who are working with me or attached to me feel valued. It helps them feel seen because they were able to contribute to it instead of them just showing up to something that's all the way mine. And I still have moments where I'm not the best at that. Like even when we started here at the station, when I brought the idea to E, I thought this was going to be like a continuance of Uncomfortable Conversations, which was a podcast that I hosted myself in 2020 with a bunch of my friends. I would have different friends on every time, and I was going to do it that way. And I'm so glad that I just, instead of bucking or fighting about it being a continued thing of just us on here, I was just like, you know what, when you seemed really excited about it, I was like, all right, well, that seems like it will really help her feel seen and heard and appreciated and included in that. And we have these types of conversations with each other all the time, so it may actually flow well, it may blah blah blah. Like I started having those type of conversations instead of in my head like, you know, you wasn't even worried about this, I'm trying to build, like, instead of going the way that I would have gone in the past, just kind of sitting back and saying, well, what's the harm? Right. And I'm so glad that we decided to move forward with it this way, and that I am learning how to better collaborate with people, because some great things have come from it in comedy. Some great friendships have stemmed from it. I feel our relationship in this station has birthed some really great ideas and some great things for us. You know, without this idea, you wouldn't have stemmed into some of the other ideas that you've had for some of the jobs that you do now. Right. So yeah, I would say being open to collaboration and kind of surrendering a little control has been invaluable in my 30s instead of trying to run everything. Yeah, collaboration can be key. Collaboration and consistency can be key.
In my 20s, like I said earlier, I was in the mindset of the older generation. You stay at one job for 30, 35 years, collect your retirement.
I have never had that mindset.
Well, like I said, I was raised by an immigrant and a very, very older father who that's what they did.
Yeah, I know. I was.
They didn't rock the boat. They didn't ask for raises.
You've only been with me for 2 years. And how many jobs have I had?
They didn't rock the boat. They didn't ask for raises. So that was the mindset that I was in my 20s, is go to work and you do your job and you work hard, and that is how you are rewarded with stability. And now in my 30s, like I said, I'm in the upside down world. I'm taking risks. And just learning more about myself in this process. So you are always changing, you're always growing, you're always evolving. I think there's a huge jump mentally for, I don't know about men, but for women, there's a huge jump when you go from 34, 35 and on versus prior to. And, I think that's when a lot of things started changing for me in my mentality, in me just wanting to know more about myself and being into it and telling myself that I am enough. And it's just all about a mindset versus doing this, and this like you were told to do. Like, no, let me figure it out myself now. So like I said, I'm in the upside down place. I'm doing it backwards. I might have should have did this in my 20s, but I was really mature, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to struggle, so I'm going to work. I'm going to get my degrees, work hard, boom, and I'm set. And now I'm back to a baby. So yeah.
Let's see. How has your understanding of success and fulfillment evolved as you've grown into your 30s?
How has my success?
Mm-hmm. How has your understanding of success and fulfillment evolved as you've grown into your 30s?
Success is not quantified by others. In my mind, it's quantified by how you feel. Did you feel what you did today was successful? Do you feel like you made yourself better today in what you're trying to do? Um, Back when I was in my 20s, my success was defined by degrees, what type of job you had, and things like that. But now my success isn't quantified by those types of things, and some people could call you crazy for it because I'm in the building stages, and it might not look successful to others at this moment, but I'm building a foundation of what I want to come. So like I said, this is the upside down place for me. So my technically this should be my 20s, right? And I'm building back up for when I get to, oh Lord, my 40s. So yeah, I think it's quantified by how you feel personally. I wouldn't give anybody else that empowerment over my life to say if what I am doing is successful or not.
I would agree with that. I would say when I was younger, my understanding of success was mostly monetary. It was material. What did I want to have? I wanted to have a husband. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to have a house. I wanted to have a nice car. I wanted to have, money in the bank. And I wanted these things not because it supplied anything for me personally, as far as like my worth, but to everybody else that was lacking those things, it would look like I had my shit together. So it was all still for validation. I would say, and I wouldn't even say it's something since my 30s, I would still say late 20s is when I started figuring out that things didn't necessarily make me happy. Things just made sure that I didn't feel broke because I had things. It didn't change the fact that I still was broke. It just that the money that I did have, I was spending it on broke people shit, right? When I was in my 20s. I would say that in my late 20s, I started to realize that experiences is how I enjoy being paid. And it worked. It's so funny how life works, because once I made that realization, I feel like that was actually what set me on my path to be a great comedian. Because all of my jokes are about experiences that I've had, different things that I probably had no business doing, that I shouldn't have been doing in my 20s. All of the stuff that I told you guys I rushed into, getting married, having kids, buying a house, joining the military, dating, all of that. I started rushing into it all early, but because of that, I have so many life experiences for me to only be 31 years old. I have so much comedy material to talk about because I've lived so much life in just 31 years because I rushed through everything. And I'm not telling everybody else to rush through shit. I'm just saying that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, right, in your life in order for you to get to where you want to be. Because whether you realize it or not, you're going to make it to your purpose. You're going to figure out what your purpose is. And the experiences of wandering through what it is you're wandering through right now is going to get you to that purpose. And back then I was a recruiter. I was in IT. I absolutely hated IT because it didn't give me the opportunity to speak to people that actually wanted to speak to you. In IT, the people that are talking to you are people that need you to fix something for them. And it's draining. And most of them can't do shit but plug in their computers, right? So, and they can't even do that correctly. So it was irritating. But I would say my understanding of success and fulfillment evolved into knowing that having access to things and having, I don't know how else to explain it or where I was going with that, but having access to things instead of just having material things is worth so much more to me now. Being able to say, hey, you want to go to this concert on Friday, and being able to call the person whose concert it is, or being able to call somebody who can get you into said concert means so much more to me than having somebody knowing what kind of car I drive. I don't give a shit if I'm driving. If it gets me from A to B, that's amazing. I would love to have a nice car. It's amazing to have a nice car, but I have one regardless of what you think about it. Right, is one of the things that I would say that has changed since I've entered my 30s. I'd rather have the experience.
Jazzy said she struggles with that because when she accomplishes something, she doesn't feel anything except relief. Because it's a lot of anxiety behind it. You got to do it for you and nobody else. That people pleasing.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I've been in
usually
that
if
space.
anxiety is around accomplishing something, it's because you're accomplishing something you didn't care to accomplish. You're accomplishing something someone else wanted you to accomplish, and you have anxiety around whether or not you're going to get the validation that you were hoping for from that person, or you're having that anxiety around whether or not you did enough to please the person you were trying to please while accomplishing said thing. Stop trying to accomplish something for somebody else. Go for the things that you want to do. That way, if you miss them, you know exactly what the feeling is that's associated with it, and you've learned something that you can apply to trying to accomplish it the next time, rather than feeling like you failed someone. Does that make sense?
I agree with what you were saying, because
She said, "Oh shit, yeah."
I used to have that same anxiety.
Yeah, and stop trying to please people with your goals. That's weird.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel, Jazzy. It's cool. You just gotta self-realization and
You'll
try to change those habits.
Jazzy's pretty young too. You'll come into it, sis.
And Ayana, when
you.
she was younger, it was getting married, having kids at a certain age, and having a nice job. It's you are completely correct. It's not like that. There's no age to complete these things. Mm-hmm. Of course, Jazzy, you know we got you. Mm-hmm. All right, so give me a funny back in the day story you find yourself telling to younger folks now that you're in your 30s.
Ooh, a back in my day story. I don't know. It's usually like it's situational. Like I'll read a story or something about something that happened to some girl because her friends left her at a party or some shit like that. Like shit like I feel like shit like that wasn't happening the way that it's happening now, where girls just she getting on my nerves and they just leave you at the club. Like, bitch, first of all, when I see you, I'm knocking all 32 teeth out of your face when I see you. That's crazy. Anything could have happened to me. Bitch, you ain't seen Players Club? Like, what's wrong with you? You know, when we were growing up, that's how you ended up ebonied, right? If somebody just left you at a party. You don't do that. We came together.
My friends would never.
Yeah, we came together. We're leaving together. When old girl passed away in that hotel room. Y'all remember that crazy story? And they just showed her drunk ass walking and she ended up in a freezer? Would have never fucking happened in my crew.
Friends set her up.
It would have never happened in my crew. And we weren't even half as close as some of these people pretend to be. You know, but it was just something that we knew in our minds and in our hearts. Even if you get on my nerves and you drunk as shit, you throwing up all over the place, I'm going to cuss you all the way out in my car on the way home. Because, bitch, we getting home. Okay, we gonna make it to the house. So it's stuff like that I feel like I have those back in my day or older person type of things. Same thing with making sure that my sons know that they are each other's best friends. I'm definitely gonna be that parent that says, take your brother. You know, Mom, my team's having this party.
But they're only like a year and a half.
Exactly, they're
apart,
only a year
so
and a half apart. But yeah, I used to resent my parents for that. They didn't do it to me because I'm 10 years older than my next sibling. But for my brothers, they're 2 years apart. And there were some times that my brother wanted to go someplace. My mom wouldn't let the younger brother go without the older brother. But the older brother could go places without my younger brother sometimes. And I didn't think that was fair. But now, like in hindsight, I can see how one of my kids could probably go somewhere by himself, but I wouldn't send the second one by himself without his brother. I wouldn't do it. Just the way that their personalities are. One of them will cry. The other one will punch you in your shit. And you need both of those people together at the party is all I'm saying. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I forgot where I was tying that story.
Nah, I just think about when you're back in your day. I think about you couldn't be on the internet at the same time and the phone. And then like you were the cool kid in school if you could download a mixed CD.
Oh.
Now they just have
burning CDs. Y'all remember burning CDs?
Napster.
I burned Beyonce's CD, the CD that has "Upgrade You" on it. Is that 4?
I don't know.
I think that might be her self-titled album, Beyonce. I don't know, but I burned that CD, and I remember walking around. When I walking around, but driving around by the let me upgrade your automobile. I was just lit as I want to be. Burnt that doggone CD. Gigapets and Neopets and stuff. My kids will never know
at all.
Never know. I woke up every morning to that dead Gigapet.
Oh, you had a Cheetah Girl CD. LimeWire. That's it.
Yes,
that's it. Shake.
Bear Share.
Yeah. Us having to do those things. And as far as deep as it got on the internet was AOL chat rooms. That was it. There was no DMs and things like that. So, you kids nowadays, y'all got it made. Y'all got it
Y'all
made.
remember the type of house parties we used to have when we were younger?
Sweating.
Just hot boxes. Why didn't nobody have AC? What was going on?
Nah, that's because it was so many
It's
people packed in
in
there.
the living room.
Yeah.
Where were our parents? Y'all get to playing Pretty Ricky and all the girls in their little bitty shorts sitting here grinding
Stop.
on
I
people.
was in
Y'all remember
college
them
then.
parties?
Stop.
I was in high school.
Stop.
But I was always the youngest of the group. I remember this boy tried to make me give him a lap dance in high school, and I didn't know how to give a lap dance, and I was socially awkward. It was all in my shoulders, girl. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But he was like, put on something she could dance too. Put on something she could dance too. That's terrible. Girl, they put on Pretty Ricky. What's the name of the... pop like it, I like it real slow. Dun, 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 dun. Y'all know what song I'm talking about. Making love on the floor.
Oh, Shaky know what it is. Come on, Shake.
We can get it some more. What is that song? I just thought I'd let you know. Up and down. There you go. Up and down we go. Up and... I didn't know how to do
Yeah,
a lap
Jazzy,
dance,
no.
So I had like shoulders and shit. I was doing
Like your mama.
Yeah. Doing like this situation. He went with it though because he was getting a lap dance. He was like, ah. It was not what it needed to be. I was giving broke back. It was not. I was giving scoliosis. I was definitely
not
broke back scoliosis. She needed therapist. I was giving all of that, and he was like, oh, yeah. It was bad. It was real bad, y'all. Thank God I'm cute, right? Because I was definitely on my Issa Rae shit. I was awkward as fuck.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, how has your social circle evolved and changed in your 30s compared to the connections you made in your 20s?
Ooh. I would say that my connections in my 20s, a lot of them were superficial. A lot of them were still me trying to prove that I was the best out of my friend group. Like, I found myself competing and not even recognizing that I was competing. And I'll call it competing now because at the time I did not recognize it as competing. It wasn't competing as far as like I wanted to be prettier than them or I wanted to be smarter. It was just that I wanted them to know that I was successful, right?
You
that
was the Khadijah.
I wanted to be admired, if that makes sense, because I was working really, really hard and I was making the most money out of my friend groups because I was the only one in the six figures being prior military and recruiter. So I already had that going for myself, but I still wanted the validation of like I'm friends with that person. I felt like somehow they should be grateful to be my friend, if that makes sense, but I wasn't actually putting forth the same amount of effort. The things that were important to my friendship lasting weren't the things I was pouring into. I felt like they should want to be attached to me because they saw where I was going in life, right? Like y'all want to mirror this because you see how much money I'm making. You see my big ass house. You see all my kids, have nice things. You see blah, blah, blah. Like I wanted that admiration more than I did just support. And in reality, back then, what I needed was support. But I had already put myself on this pedestal of I'm successful, y'all should be proud of me. That when it came time for me to ask for support, I made it almost impossible for me to turn around and ask for support because I had been, on this pedestal this entire time of look at me, I got it together. So I'd say in my 30s, I've learned to, one, I've definitely humbled out, but also I've learned to be open and real with my friends from the beginning. And not necessarily with just putting my business out there, but with trusting that they're in the same spaces. We're all reflections of each other. So if I'm feeling this way, you've either felt this way before or you have some type of information that can get with me on this level and understand how I'm feeling. So I go into my friendships a lot more on the intuitive and on the feeling and on the emotional side and investment side rather than just being friends for the hell of it to be able to say that I have them. What about you?
The difference is the circle gets smaller.
No, my circle always been small. Always been little.
I'm not saying that mine was ever huge, but it does get smaller. People's priorities change, things differ. people change. Things happen on every different level you can think of, emotionally, socially, family, everything. So your circle is inherently going to get smaller, which means that you cherish each relationship even more. And I think with certain circles, everybody has a role. Like Shaky, she is going to pray for you when you're not even asking for it. She gonna support you. She gonna cheer you on. I'm the friend that's gonna show up if you need something. Alicia, she's on her professional role. So if you need a doctor's opinion, we're gonna call Alicia, and she might be on a flight somewhere, traveling. But everybody has their different roles. And when you evolve in friendships, because we've been friends,
I feel like when you
from the
hit
rooted
your
to the
30s, you start giving your friendships. You either start losing friendships or you start giving your friends a lot more grace than you did in your 20s, because you feel like you got more time in your 20s. In your 30s, you start realizing exactly how much time you have, and it ain't much. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily in life, but just like in your day. Because typically in your 30s, that's when you have kids or younger kids. That's when you have a spouse or a serious relationship that you're working on. Or if you're not doing a family thing, you're really, really breaking into your career, right? So your time starts to feel a little bit more cluttered. You have to give your friends a lot more grace. People will start peeling off, people will start coming back in. You kind of got to get in where you fit in. You have to schedule friend time in your 30s, because life kind of starts lifing on you. And it doesn't necessarily mean it becomes harder. It just becomes more full, right? It's because your priorities shift.
Yana, that is totally true. Quantity versus quality, 20s and 30s. So yeah, I did want to ask this last one. Have you ever caught yourself? I'm sorry. What was the moment where you knew you was too old to be in the club or out and about?
I don't think I've reached that age yet. I can still go to the club. I just don't do the shit I used to do at the club. Like now, I'm the person that goes to the club to have a cute drink in the corner and watch y'all cut a fool. Like, I can still have a good time and people watch. But I won't be there long because I don't understand why the music has to be yelling at me. So I guess like right around now is when I'm starting to realize maybe if the music is too loud for me, I shouldn't be here.
Yo, mine. Oh. So Jamaicans party different, mm-hmm. right? So especially if it's gonna be a big time artist in town. So there's this one time Beanie Man was gonna be at this club we were going to. So you take a nap till about 12, then you get ready and you go. So you get there about 2. Yo, 4:02 came a.m. And we had been there since about 2 a.m. And I was like, yo, this is the last time I'm doing this. He ain't even here yet. Why the fuck? It was once he came on by 4:30. And he was lit for like the next 2 hours. And I was like, I can't do this shit no more, man. And the only time I go to the club now is if my sister begged me.
Yeah, I was like, it's got to be some people in town.
You don't want to wear heels,
really,
I get
really
that.
Asked us to come and gather and whatnot. And even then, I'm probably putting on J's. I'm not about to put on my stilettos. I mean, y'all got it. I ain't even trying to be fine for y'all no more. I got her at home, and we about to go home, put on socks, and watch cooking shows. I'm not doing that no more. So yeah, I guess around now, I can still go if you really need me to. But I would have rather gone to a nice dinner and a Cirque du Soleil show.
Where you can be.
Let's go watch an opera. How about that? Let's go to the museum. That's where I'm at. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Laugh Therapy. You can catch us every Thursday at 4 p.m. Please, again, announcements. Do not forget, my website will be up and popping this week. So make sure to keep an eye out for kingmecomedy.com. If you follow me on Facebook, it's Jordan Joe Parks. Every other social media platform, it is King Me Comedy. Follow me on all social media platform so that you can keep up with that information. Also, I have been nominated for a People's Choice Award, guys. So if you go on TikTok, again, it is King as in royalty, me as in you and I, comedy as in funny. King Me Comedy on TikTok. Click the link in the bio and vote Joe King as funniest comedian so that I can win that award in August, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next week on Laugh Therapy. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.